silence your cell phones and note where the nearest exits are. If you need to leave and re-enter the theater, please do this in between our songs. We are starting off our concert today with the EHS Concert Band. Concert Band has had a great year. It is the largest band we have ever had in the history of Elmira, and we have had everything from students that are beginners to advanced students playing secondary instruments. Our band has progressed a lot this year, and we are excited to share our talents with you tonight. For our first piece, we'll have a special guest conductor. Ms. Carlton is our student teacher this year from Mansfield, and she did an amazing job. She already has a teaching job in Pennsylvania next year, and we know she's going to be a great teacher. It's my pleasure to welcome Ms. Carlton to the stage.
pleasure to be able to work with these guys. Concert band has come so far this year. I am very proud of them. I think they sound amazing. That last piece is one of the songs that we're going to be doing in our competition on Saturday on Fan Trip. And concert band's going to be coming out and joining us a little bit later in the concert again. But our last piece is an oldie but a goodie. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it. It's a medley from Journey.
J.L. Thomasman, and I'm an alto sax in the jazz band. The jazz band at EHS is an extracurricular group that meets before school once a week during fall and as a class during the spring. We have some amazing and dedicated juniors and seniors, and we wanted to give them a chance to show off their talent. House of the Rising Sun is featuring our pianist Libby McNett and Anna McCarthy on alto, and Sing 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 is featuring Jordan Nichols on trumpet and Maddox Brown on tenor.
Thank you very much. Jazz band is an awesome group to work with. These kids actually give up their lunch time every other day to be able to rehearse together, so we really appreciate them. Our next ensemble entering the stage is our percussion ensemble. During marching band season, our percussionists wear the marching drums and march out on the field, but during the rest of the year, they do concert percussion instruments and they do percussion ensemble music. And both the drumline and the percussion ensemble are led by Mr. Dale Palmentier.
my pleasure to introduce the Elmira High School Wind Ensemble. The Wind Ensemble consists of students grades 10 to 12 that have achieved an advanced level of performance. Our first and last pieces tonight are our competition pieces for our trip this week, and Peter Gunn is featuring soloists Lexi Bellinger, Ryan Drum, Aaron Schuster, and Emma Moffett. As EHS band musicians, we like to study some music that is classical in nature and also study music that is popular. It helps us to be well-rounded musicians, and we hope you enjoy them. Thank you.
We like to recognize one of our seniors that have gone above and beyond musically and also for our program. And we like to give them what's called a concerto. It's a solo that they play that's basically accompanied by the band. This year our concerto winner is Miss Elizabeth McNett. She is not only our indoor drum major, she plays piano in jazz band, and she plays oboe in the concert band. She's been an area all-state every year of high school, and she is going to be going to Houghton College, and she's going to be playing clarinet while she was there. So I'm sure you are going to enjoy this grade. took notes in it. They did a really good job with it. It's very tricky. It's also going to be one of our competition pieces. At this point in the evening, it's time to do what is very sad for us to do every year at the spring concert, and that is recognize our seniors that will be leaving us. So I'm going to quickly call them up to the end of the stage. Please try to hold your applause. I know sometimes it's difficult. I'm going to tell you what their college and career plans are going to be for next year as they move on in their life and leave us. So as I call you guys, come on up, and they're just going to line across the front of the stage. In the flute section, Amity Allington is going to SUNY Brockport for nursing. Yeah, you can just applause. We'll just do it. Clarinets, Elizabeth McNett is going to Houghton University for clarinet performance and biology. Braylon Paul is going to be working at ARC, and she's going to be working with special needs people. Markieva Chestnut is going to the University at Hartford to major in sociology and criminal justice. Ellie Johnson is on clarinet, and she is still figuring out what she wants to do with her life, but we know she's going to do awesome things. Savannah Harvard is going to Eastern Florida State to become a vet tech. Ari Liddington Torres is going to be studying cosmetology. She wants to be a nail technician. Moving on to our alto saxophones, Anna McCarthy is going to SUNY Fredonia. She's going to be doing a double major in vocal performance and music ed. In our tenor saxophone section, Maddox Brown is going to SUNY Corning, and he is going to be studying to become a firefighter. In our trumpet section, Jordan Nichols is going to Elmira College, and he is studying English education to be an English teacher. Hallie Green is going to SUNY Community College for liberal arts. Damian Locke is going to St. Thomas College. He's going to be majoring in criminal justice and playing football. Mackenzie Andrews is still figuring out exactly what she wants to do also, but we know she's going to do great things too. In our low brass section, David Hansen is going to SUNY Geneseo to study chemistry. Isabella Hopler is going to Corning Community College for art education. And in our percussion section, Tasha Kelly is going to Buff State to study childhood education. Nathan Rashke is going to Rochester Institute of Technology. He's studying biochemistry and nuclear research. O'Shane DaCosta is going into the Air Force to study communications. Spawn Heath also going into the Air Force, and he's entering their welding program. Tyler Jessup is going to Mansfield University for music education. And last but not least, Toby Butters is going to CCC, and he's studying technology. So, can we actually turn on the house lights so you guys can get a picture of our amazing senior class of 2025? I do want to take a minute. This is a big class. They have been a very, that works. Very enjoyable class to work with. They're very dependable. They've worked their butts off. Anytime I need any help, they've been there to help me do it. They've done a lot of prep this past week while we planned the trip and the concert. And I also threw senior prom. And anytime I needed them to do any work, sometimes I had to bribe them with a candy bar. But they've all been very willing, and we are greatly going to miss them. So one last round of applause. All right, you guys can go back to your seats. We start the beginning of our school year together as one band. We would not really fit in the band room if we rehearsed together all year. We divide into two bands. But because we start the year together as marching bands, we like to end the year together. So we're going to be having our concert band join us back on stage They're going to be finding places to sit, and we're playing one final song for you together. I do want to do a couple housekeeping items while they're getting set up. We are leaving Thursday morning for the trip. We will be back Saturday around 11 p.m. We'll have our kids keep you in contact. Luggage needs to be brought to school on Thursday, and before they go to class, they're just going to bring it into the theater so we can do a luggage check. The latest it can be here is 10 for our late arrival students. Dorney Park is cashless, so they need to either have a debit card or they have machines all over Dorney where you can do a reverse, put in cash, and they'll give you a debit card to use. And I think that's it. Are we all set? All right, so I just want to say a big thank you to our parents for all your support, for allowing your kids to spend so much time with us, and for raising such wonderful people. Our last song is Stairway to Heaven. Woo! I forgot to mention, we do have an advanced theater tech and theater tech classes here, and our advanced students this semester worked on designing a light show to go along with this. So big applause to them, and running the actual light board is Kenny McNabb.